Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of First Impressions on the Scratch the Track podcast presented by the Dude and Grim Show and co-produced by Mr. IVEST. I'm the Dude.
And I am Grim. And today we are going to take a look at Jack White's new release, Entering Heaven Alive.
Alive. Not to be confused with the movie Alive, where those soccer players turned into cannibals after the air crash. It was a good movie, though.
It was.
Anyways.
Second release of 2022.
That's pretty good. It's not King Gizzard level, but it's pretty good.
It is. And I get the sense now. I guess I haven't really dove in. We should have probably done Fear of the Dawn first and then Entering Heaven Alive. But there's still time. The year's not over yet.
No.
But I get this. I get the sense that this is sort of a different sort of tone feel from that one, especially when you look at Taking Me Back, because Taking Me Back on Fear of the Dawn is like super kind of almost industrial at times because it's guitar, but like very synthy too. And it's really thick, really heavy. And then the version that he does on this, which was the first single, on October 18th.
Is it really not?
Huh?
Yeah.
It's Taking Me Back Gently, which I kind of like this one better in a way. I really like what he does with his thick and kind of nasty, crunchy stuff. But having heard that and then listening to this version for the first time, it's like his country honk.
It is.
Am I right?
It definitely is. Yeah, no, it definitely is. And dude, Fear of the Dawn, much harder, rockier album. This one is, acoustic and folky and, it's, Taking Me Back Gently is, it was cool to hear that song kind of done in that form. I hadn't listened much to Fear of the Dawn. But I'd heard that song a ton because it was used during the NHL playoffs as kind of like promotional song like and everything.
The new anthem of the NHL. I'm sure that worked out well for him too.
I'm sure it did. Got him some sales. Well, it was weird because when I first heard it, I was like, I didn't think that was Jack White, and I was like, oh my god, that's Jack White.
Oh yeah.
It just kind of caught me off guard.
Now, friend of the show, Mr. Tom Van, sent me that song for some, we just text back and forth, and out of the blue he was just like, dude, have you heard this? It's Taking Me Back. And I was like, Taking You Back to, and then I listened to the song and I was like, oh, that's clever. But I hadn't heard, I knew he was releasing an album and he had like blue hair, but I hadn't heard anything from it. When I heard that, It really kind of brought me back to the title track from Lazaretto, which I thought was also just a sick, like kind of hard song. So I liked it immediately, but I really like this version.
So when I started getting through the album, probably a couple songs in, dude, it reminded me, this has so many elements, at least I feel, of like what he did with Get Behind Me, Satan, or I should say what they did, the White Stripes. Pulling in a lot of those, dude. A lot of acoustic, obviously acoustic, a lot of piano, using alternate percussion, violin, and that type of stuff.
There's been a lot of violin in some of his solo stuff too.
Dude, marimbas in at least one of the song, if not a couple of them. There's some Wurlitzer on this. Like, dude, it had that feel.
I don't know what track exactly, but in one of the tracks, he played a freaking Hammond solo Vox. Now, that is super nerdy for most people, but it was a Hammond organ that I believe only used tubes, if I'm not mistaken, instead of like the gear systems. All I'm saying with that is like those ones are super rare and super expensive and very hard to come by.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, one of the songs that has Wurlitzer, which is Help Me Along.
Yeah,
Dude, Dean Fertitta plays the solo on that, who is from Queens of the Stone Age and the Dead Weather. So I was like...
I didn't realize he was in Dead Weather. That's interesting. Yeah. He is also on Iggy Pop's Post-Pop Depression, him and Josh. He's one of the guys.
Okay. Yeah, I think Josh says he's like the best dressed man in rock. That's what he calls him. Because, dude, if you see him live, man, dude, like he's dressed up in like nice suits and like vests and everything.
Yeah,
Dude's
what's his name from Queens does that? Troy Van Leeuwen, I think, does that.
Or maybe it was Troy.
Yeah.
Sorry, maybe I'm getting Troy and Dean mixed up then. Yeah. But either way, they're both put together.
Very dapper.
But so, yeah, I mean, dude, I like this album overall.
I did too.
A lot. Especially, I liked it more on the second listen through. I can see some people. I mean, I like the contrast between the two albums. You know, putting one album out and having
I do
sort
too.
of the opposite.
I think that's
the opposite
cool.
of that. Because and I go back a lot to sort of White Stripes stuff. A lot of those albums, they'd mix things up, right?
Yeah.
Like you'd have some of the, harder songs, and then it's like, we're going to be friends.
Well, and he does that a
know.
lot. I think that's just kind of something he does because Lazaretto is very much like that. What's a Blunderbuss? I mean, had some of that too. Some of his solo albums kind of follow that trend.
Okay.
Which I thought was interesting about this one because this was much more almost like a definitive direction throughout. But there were some things that kind of threw me, and I think the song that was my favorite was "I've Got You Surrounded with My Love."
Okay.
I think because that one had just it was totally different, and it like the whole mood kind of changed with that one.
Yep. Yeah, dude, I have that one marked as well. And dude, it does have very interesting sound to it. A lot of different instruments. The guitar sound is very unique on it.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, it's got piano on it and everything. So yeah, that one really stood out to me as well.
So did the Madman from Manhattan. That also
Mad from Manhattan. Yeah, I like that. If I Die Tomorrow, dude, I think just sort of his acoustic strumming. It's got violin on it. I really love his like vocal cadence and everything. I just thought, I thought this was a really good album. The song in it, I think it's, I'm pretty sure it's off Get Behind Me Satan, is As Ugly As I Seem.
Yeah.
That song, it feels like this album to me.
Oh, okay.
Just the way like when I started listening to this album, I was like, oh, it just feels like that song.
Yeah. Okay. I can dig that.
But yeah, man, I like it. I should probably give Fear of the Dawn some more listens. I think I'm gonna get this one on vinyl. Pretty sure. We'll see. I haven't made up my mind just yet.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say that was interesting, but I guess there was a couple parts from one of the songs along the way was recorded at this house in Kalamazoo. And I don't know anything about that house. I want to imagine it's like some weird old mansion or something that would like kind of follow suit of what you would expect, I think.
Well, it is funny that, obviously he's a, Michigan guy in Detroit and everything. But it's funny that he's recorded in Kalamazoo. The Black Keys have recorded in Kalamazoo.
I didn't know that.
They have beef with each other, and they don't get along, which is weird.
I can see that because he probably felt like the Black Keys were a ripoff of the White Stripes, but
yeah, I can see that. But dude, it's okay to be blues rockers and not rip somebody off.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I just some of the one thing I was impressed with again was just a lot of use of really interesting old instruments, which I thought was cool.
I mean, dude, he's just like, what? He's a analog man in a digital world.
Oh yeah,
whatever that saying is.
Yeah,
but, that's what's cool about Jack White is, he loves to just do unique things, use unique instruments, old stuff, like just get different sounds out of stuff. He like, for him being sort of, I don't know, consistent in how he kind of like does stuff is not usually kind of his thing. Even though this album has like that acousticy, folky feel, a lot of the songs there's a lot of variation throughout.
Yeah, I agree. Now, one of the things you had mentioned was a review that was kind of, I thought, a little bit scathing when you brought that up.
Yeah. So Pitchfork, I just saw on their Twitter, they said, it's just their Twitter. This is just a quote from the Twitter post. It's clear that Jack White still knows how to record a hot record. And then there's a space, but it might help if someone else were writing the songs. So I don't know how to I should probably read the full article before I guess what that means. I don't fully know how to take that.
I understand. I will say there's been several other Pitchfork reviews. What did they give this one? Like a 6.4 or so? Oh, yeah, 6.4 out of 10. Sorry, that's better than a solid D. This album is way better than a solid D. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they have something where they're like, okay, well, this person is over the age of whatever, so they have to suck now because they're old and they're not cool anymore. Yeah. Like, that's kind of how it seems with some of it.
I mean, you have to, personally, I would take those reviews with a grain of salt because, I mean, I feel like they have to be harder, like hard graders.
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, when like, I mean, we could talk about this for hours. Like, okay, I would say, our standard for a 10 is probably Dark Side of the Moon and Abbey Road. I mean,
several more, but yeah, those ones are guarantees.
Yeah. So, I mean, is this, I don't know, 45 points less than that or whatever would be 35 points less than that?
I don't know. It's all subjective, but I think in general, it would help to have people review the music that are actually fans of it, because you're not gonna want me to like do a review of like the most bubblegum. Like, I don't really care about Harry Styles' new album. I probably won't, and that's fine, and that's why I shouldn't be the one to review it. You know what I mean?
But as a fan, then you're gonna start getting biases, man. That's just gonna happen.
Yeah,
but there'll be biases both ways. Yeah.
So what we're saying is this is better than 6.4. What do you think of it? Tell us below after you go right ahead and do the following.
Like, subscribe, and comment below.
All right, Graham, I think that about wraps it up on this episode.
Yeah, I think so too.
Entering Heaven Alive. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching, listening, liking, subscribing. And let us know if we should listen to Fear of the Dawn and what you think of that too.
I think I'm going to do it anyways, but yeah, tell us.
Okay. All right. Time to go.
Dude and Grim Show. Scratch the Track is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by More. That's ... MORE and the Tims. TIMNZ. Copyright 2020 to The Dude and Grim Show.